US Congressman Tim Burchett from the great state of Tennessee just dropped some bombshell news about David Grusch and the next hearing. Basically, in a recent interview, he said that some of the witnesses from David Grusch's investigation are going to be testifying at the next hearing. That's bombshell news, if you ask me. So what we're going to do is take a look at the clip of Tim Burchett talking about this and take a look at David Grusch talking about those witnesses from the last congressional hearing, kind of give us a refresher and some context. All right, let's dive in. So this is the news right here. Ask a Poll, Matt Laszlo. News, exclusive video. Tim Burchett tells Ask a Poll subscribers David Grusch's list of cooperative and hostile witnesses will be part of the next hearing. Confirms Congressional UAP caucus wants testimony from Tim Gallaudet. So that's also news, right? They want Tim Gallaudet to also testify, right? But list of cooperative hostile witnesses, right? So look, we are going to be taking a look at that video. But UFO Joe Murcia, he asks the list or the witnesses themselves. And Ask a Poll's response is some of the witnesses. So that's great, right? Now who, right? David Grusch claimed to have about 40 witnesses at this congressional hearing, right? And we're going to take a look at that clip here in just a moment. But first, let's hear from Tim Burchett talking about this. Got it queued up here.
Someone else is asking, Grusch gave a list of cooperative and hostile witnesses. What have they done with this list? Are you planning to subpoena any of them? I know you guys don't technically have subpoena power yet, but
Well, the committee does. The committee can. And
the oversight committee, yeah.
Yeah. And that'll be part of the next hearing, some of those folks.
Yep, that'll be part of the next hearing, some of those folks.
Again, I'm afraid to give out too many names because, as you know, what happened the last time, we had like 12 people that were coming in. We ended up with 3. The 3 were dynamite. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
we could have. We had some people that were scared of it, and so I will be very cautious this go around.
Is there any chance of getting a UAP subcommittee, or what is that question? I mean, I think listeners, viewers don't necessarily get how much 2024 and the election in November has really kind of sucked all the policy air out of this town, you know, and even a lot of UAP caucus members are in tight re-elections.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, you know, with you're right, with elections going on. So I'm a little concerned about that. I don't want to put any of our members in jeopardy because of this.
Yeah. So do you think?
Yeah, the UAP UFO community is not a wealthy community. They have a wealth of knowledge, and but they're not, they're not setting the woods on fire helping us get elected out here.
Yeah. And so do you think, like, I haven't heard much, if any, conversation of a UAP subcommittee recently. Do you think maybe in November we might, or pardon me, after November, that we might start hearing talk of that? Or do you think that?
Yeah, that'd be an excellent thing. Yeah.
Yep. We got a Knoxvillian here who says, how important is this issue really?
It's incredibly important. Tens of millions of your tax dollars are being spent on an issue that they say does not exist. We need to, and when government thinks that we can't handle it, that's when we really need to double down and find out exactly what they're doing with that money and what's going on. Because if there's in my wildest dreams that this is some conspiracy to keep us from having important information that could solve a lot of problems in this world because of our greed and stupidity, we refuse to pursue it. So yeah, it's a real issue. And
so look, if you really want to hear this, you got to become a member of Ask a Poll. I recommend doing that. It's a 45-minute conversation. It's really great. Matt Laszlo, who runs Ask a Poll, great reporter. Okay. They do a lot of UAP topics and cover it a lot, so it's a great membership. I bought a yearly membership. It's very affordable. This is part of their Discord, so you can see there's a lot going on, right? So link in the description. Go check them out. Go join. All right. I'm going to scroll down here because there's a little bit more to this interview right here. Ask a Poll subscriber asks, are you crafting a whistleblower protection measure? Yeah, we talked about that. We're working with some legal people to try to get something a little better than what's out there. So they're trying to strengthen the whistleblower protection that's out there. Okay. And I don't know when the next hearing is going to be. It sounded like he was saying like after November, which I thought it would be sooner. I thought it was going to be the summer, to be honest with you. Kind of like in July again. Confirm UAP caucus wants Tim Gallaudet to testify. Yep. There's a Navy admiral who's been real vocal here lately. He was involved in an incident. I can talk about it now because he's talked about it on the national news. There was a sighting and he was in the chain of information. It's a Go Fast video, right? Any update on the UAP caucus trying to hire David Grusch? We're not clear to have any budget like that, but I don't know what that would get us anyway. Remember, there was this talk about David Grusch joining Congress, essentially as a staffer, kind of working with multiple people in Congress as a staffer, kind of, helping with UAP legislation, UAP-related topics, and things like that. Burchett remains dubious of Schumer's UAP DA. So there's a new UAP, right, amendment that's going to go out, and he doesn't think that's a good idea. Right. And the question is, what do you make of Representative Robert Garcia introducing Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's UAPDA amendment to the NDAA for 2025? I made a video about that. I'll put a link in the description. And it's interesting. He's like, I don't see it doing much. He's a Democrat. Burchett says, again, I just want disclosure. I don't want all the bureaucracy. I'm sick of it. 50 pages or 60 pages of bureaucracy to say release it. Obviously, they're putting something in there where they're not going to be releasing it. I get his point. I don't like he's a Democrat. I mean, we're supposed to be working together. Right? And Tim Burchett has said multiple times about the bipartisanship, and that's a big point of it. So that's kind of an unnecessary dig. And he's putting out one as well that's like 2 pages. Right? But I get the point of the longer one. There's more to it than just release it. It's about the future and what to do with certain stuff and reporting and this and that and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. But I understand the point about too much bureaucracy. I get that too. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Right? There's some updates there. Now, this thing about David Grusch, right? Remember we just spoke about Representative Robert Garcia, right? Well, here he is, Mr. Garcia. And remember, so basically the idea is that Grusch had a list of witnesses, cooperative and hostile specifically. That's how he put it. That's how it's put. On his investigation into this, right? Crash retrieval program, all of that, right? Bodies, biologics, downcraft, all of this, right? So Tim Burchett is saying from this list, these witnesses, the actual witnesses themselves, are going to be at the hearing to testify, hopefully, right? And he doesn't want to release the names because he doesn't want them to get intimidated and not go to the hearing. Because at the last hearing that happened last July, we're coming up on a year, we had 3 witnesses, but there was supposed to be like 11, I think, or 10 to 12, somewhere in there, right? And you had 3. So, but it might have been too full, right, to have that many. Either way, this list of David Grusch that led him to say what he said, some of these people are going to testify. About what, who, I don't know. We already know some of the 40 people that are David Grusch's witnesses, right? Carl Nell, Eric Davis, right? Jason Sands has said he's one of them. So that's interesting, right? I've always said that this list is, because he said, here, I'll tell you the names, places where to go and find this stuff. I've always said that's important. That's like, until that's like diminished and they've said, okay, this is BS, I'm with David Grusch on this list. So to me, this is really important. But when is this going to happen? I don't know. This is definitely a patient game, y'all. Right? It's politics. It's a patient game. So, but just to refresh our memories, I have a few clips for you here.
We're trying to get them on the public record as well, which is really important. Mr. Grusch, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I think that these questions are important questions, and I look forward to being involved in the process to get those answered. I know there'll be a lot of questions from other committee members, so I yield back.
Thank you. We'll go to Mr. Burchett himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So you heard that, right? 40 witnesses, right? So these people.
To a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you.
That never happened. But I just wanted to show you a clip from a Democrat and a Republican. See? Everyone was getting along on this. We don't need to start naming Democrat, let's all get behind this. Right? I think what Tim Burchett's best bet would be to say, hey, I support that and mine. Both. Let's get them both in. Right? What's the point? But this is the list that they're talking about, right? And they were never able to provide it. They did obviously get it to them eventually, of course. And some of these people, whoever they are, right, who have knowledge that we want to know, potentially could be testifying at this next hearing, right? Who are they? Will they be people we know or new people? I don't know, but it's very interesting. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this. Now, we're going to end on David Grusch's opening statement from the hearing. I just thought it's nice to sort of let him reiterate where we are, what that testimony meant, right? I think this is an important 4 minutes in the overall UAP discussion, in my opinion.
Mr. Chairman, ranking members and congressmen, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is an important issue, and I'm grateful for your time. My name is David Charles Grusch. I was an intelligence officer for 14 years, both in the U.S. Air Force, both active duty, Air National Guard, and Reserve, at the rank of major, and most recently from 2021 to 2023, at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, at the GS-15 civilian level, which is the military equivalent of a full bird colonel. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis, as well as reporting to the UAP Task Force, UAPTF, and eventually, once it was established, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. I became a whistleblower through a PPD-19 urgent concern filing in May 2022 with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Following concerning reports from multiple esteemed and credentialed current and former military and intelligence community individuals that the U.S. government is operating with secrecy above congressional oversight with regards to UAPs. My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom also have shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself and my various colleagues. I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP Task Force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people. I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims. But as I stand here under oath now, I am speaking to the facts as I've been told them. In the U.S. Air Force, in my National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, reservist capacity, I was a member of the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. I served at the NRO Operations Center on the Director's Briefing staff, which included the coordination of the Presidential Daily Brief and supporting variety of contingency operations, which I was the Reserve Intelligence Division Chief backup. In 2019, the UAP Task Force Director asked me to identify all special access programs and controlled access programs, also known as SAPs and CAPs, we needed to satisfy our congressionally mandated mission, and we were direct report at the time to the DepSecDef. At the time, due to my extensive executive level intelligence support duties, I was cleared to literally all relevant compartments and in a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, to which I was denied access to those additional read-ons when I requested it. I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower. As you know, I've suffered retaliation for my decision, but I am hopeful that my actions will ultimately lead to a positive outcome of increased transparency. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
So that's David Grusch's opening statement for the UAP hearing that was held last July 26, 2023, right? And that list, right, this roadmap to this, where the bodies and the UFOs were, and that we haven't like followed through all the way on this is like crazy to me. I've said that in several vetted videos forever, right? I'm all about David Grusch. I got focused on that only. You know, what this list, this map, let's go. Let's find out. Let's hear from these people once and for all, because that's it. That's the top of the pyramid to me. What else? If that falls apart, what else is there? David Grusch and his investigation is our best bet for that part of the government disclosure or whatever. Like, if that doesn't happen, I mean, what's the point? I thought, you know, yes, we need to do the other things, but, right, is somehow David Grusch going to come back, right, in the fourth quarter here with his investigation, and finally that's going to happen? Or they just keep postponing it? I mean, when are we going to hear from these people? And then we hear from a few of them. Let's say we hear from 3. Well, there's 40. I mean, right? I think a follow-up question to Tim Burchett should be, have you spoken to all 40 of these people? And were you able to corroborate anything from them as well, right? Things like that, right? Something to do with more specifics. Have you been to the places that David Grusch said? Right? Have you visited these places? Any of that. And ask, of these witnesses, are they first-hand witnesses? Right? Can we get someone that's worked on the craft? That's what we need to know. So anyway, that's my video for today, y'all. Okay. Hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Peace.